The thing that is putting OKC over the top these last two games is, as we talked about on previous episodes, the depth of their bench.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast, the authentic voice of sports leadership where coaching wisdom meets real talk. And I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams. And on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition, in segment 1, we're going to give you an NBA Finals preview. In segment 2, we're going to talk about management and coaching leadership with Masai Ujiri in Dallas, Steve Kerr in Golden State, and Jamahl Mosley going to New Orleans. And in segment 3, we got to talk about Caitlin Clark and how she's being, in my opinion, mismanaged. And we'll also talk about Azzi Fudd and coming in as the number 1 pick and being 6th person off the bench. And we may talk about a few other items. But with me today is our basketball correspondent, Danny Thompson. Danny, let's jump into the NBA. I have thoroughly enjoyed watching OKC in San Antonio. Before I go on my rant, what are you thinking about OKC and San Antonio as a series?
I mean, it's everything I expected it would be. It's a dog fight. They are being physical with each other. The thing that is putting OKC over the top these last two games is, as we talked about on previous episodes, the depth of their bench. Oklahoma City is averaging, their bench alone is averaging 67 points a game. Like, that's unheard of. And now that Jalen Williams is pretty much injured, he's done, like he's probably done for the rest of the series. The bench is stepping up tremendously. Like game 3, there are 4 players in double figure scoring, with clearly Caruso leading the way, scoring wise, but between him and his defense on Wemby and Cason Wallace's defense, Oklahoma City's not skipping a beat. Everyone is, I know I don't like bringing him up, but Kendrick Perkins keeps asking Chet Holmgren to step up. I mean, he doesn't have to. You got Hartenstein guarding Wemby now. So you take Chet away from guarding Wembanyama, and he can free up all the time he wants on the offensive floor. So the thing is, now San Antonio's depth has to catch up now. Their secondary players need to come in and make a bigger role outside of Wembanyama. We know what Wemby's going to do. It's a given narrative we already know. But Dylan Harper has to step up a little bit. De'Aaron Fox he's not 100% coming off. He's still playing with that high ankle sprain. He's about to be careful, but he has to be a little bit more aggressive. And if Stephen Castle can keep the turnovers to a minimum for me, they can come out and win game 4, record on a Sunday, game 4 tonight. This is going to be an epic series, but I can tell you this now. If San Antonio doesn't win game 4, you can go ahead and wrap this up. OKC is not losing at home.
Yeah. So for me, it's a series. And the national media has to have content. So after game 1, everybody blithered all over Wemby's performance. And, hey, it's an awesome performance. Well, remember, it had to go into double overtime. So it's very clear watching basketball that OKC is the better team. So whenever people bring up the regular season, I kind of not think about those games because it could be the 3rd of a 5th game. It could be the 1st of this. It could be a lot of things. But in the playoffs, that's all you're focused on, is beating that team. And we talked last week about the process that teams have to go through. And San Antonio looks like it's going through a process. And OKC looks like it's been through the process and it's just living. Everything's very boring. Everything's very dull. So when I'm looking at the series now, I'm looking for what else you got. And what I mean by that, fans, as a coach, is I know Wemby 7'5". I know at the beginning of the game, and I'm at the Black Student Athlete Summit outstanding event, and I'll talk about it in segment 3, and he was in his bag and he mixed up the Hardenstein and he pulled up a three, and that was a filthy move. But I'm glad you're shooting the three because that keeps you away from the basket and I have a better chance to get a rebound. So please show me all the bag you want 25 feet away from the basket, because whatever shots you take, you ain't getting but one. So that's kind of how I'm looking at basketball. I just need to score one more point than the other team. So when OKC goes on a run, because again, both teams go on runs, they seem to have embraced as a team the mid-range game. And they're getting closer to the basket. So as a coach, we used to say, hey, if your three's not falling, let's get you something, closer to the basket. And in the regular season, it's threes and layups and nothing in the middle. But in the postseason, I wish Wemby had a 15-footer, because if he wants a shot, he can get his shot and you can't block it. So that's kind of how I'm seeing it. We had OKC in six games because it's a respectful thing for the Spurs. But I didn't see the Spurs winning the series. But again, the national media has to pump out daily content, and we do a weekly show. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. In terms of the East, I'm going to let Danny go first so I don't scream and holler. But I'm underwhelmed with the level of resistance of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Danny, what are you thinking about the Knicks and the Cavs?
This comment from me is going to be short and sweet and to the point. Let's just go ahead and say this: Cleveland has officially they put their jackets in the closet. They say, "I'm going to bed. Good night." I'm not putting any more stock into this. I'm not even putting more energy in probably watching the rest of this, because I know after Monday night, it's a wrap. You can go ahead and say New York is in the finals.
Yes.
It's a done deal. I'm not going to spend any time trying to look over how Cleveland's playing. I'm not going to look into how good New York is playing. It's over. It's a done deal. New York is in the finals. I'm good with it. Just move on.
Yeah. So no Harley race, because as I like to go back to a couple of wrestling quotes, Cleveland's got no insides, man. they got no guts. And it's disappointing to watch that. A couple of things about the Knicks. What they're doing is historic, is impressive. Jalen Brunson is an all-time Knick. Okay. And let's look at who you're doing it to. Atlanta shouldn't have gone that many games. Boston didn't have a plan B, so you played who you played. And Cleveland's rolled over. So I don't know if you're sharp enough to go into either OKC or San Antonio in terms of winning, especially when OKC wins. So you've got the playoffs. You better hope you get a split in games 1 or 2, and then game 2, if you're local to the DMV area, we're going to get the band together and go to the Green Turtle in Burtonsville, the Paint Branch Green Turtle, and have a watch party for game 2, just to be around basketball folks and help us financially. But again, I'm not mad, and I've got a lot of Knicks fans in my life. I do. And my dad grew up a Knicks fan, but they're just not aesthetically pleasing. They're going to make it to the finals. We're going to hear about it. And that's when I'm going to go all Harley race and say, my goodness, put them out. Put them out. Put them out. Put them out. Go ahead.
Now, I will say this, and we brought up the national media narrative when it came to Oklahoma City and San Antonio. I'm going to need this national media narrative to stop with trying to put Jalen Brunson as the greatest Knick of all time if they win this championship. For me personally, as a guy who studies basketball history as much as I can, I'm not putting him above Walt Frazier. I'm not doing it. I'm not putting him above Willis Reed. I'm not doing it. If he wins a championship, him and Patrick Ewing can duke it out.
If he wins a title, he wins a title. Pat never won a title.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. If he wins the title, yeah, you can put him in there. But to have him above Clyde and above Cap, I'm not doing it. Just cut this out.
While I got you here, okay, I got to get this out of the way. Mike Brown. He's getting a lot of, hey, attaboy, because he's not Thibodeau. How are you thinking about Mike Brown and the job he's done? Because I'm looking at, he didn't beat anybody, but that's who you played. So, yeah, I ain't mad because Mike Brown has coached everywhere, has won titles as a head coach, assistant coach, all of that. So this is a no bum conversation, but I'm like, the East.
I mean, I'm not looking at Mike Brown as this end all be all, coach. Like, he's doing what he's supposed to. You're beating who he's supposed to beat.
You're supposed to beat these guys.
You're supposed to beat these teams. So that's what he's doing is expected. It's given. And as far as his coaching ability, where have people been? Like, he turned Sacramento into a playoff team, which ain't been done since I was in middle school when Chris
Vlade
was on the team.
And the cowbells.
And the cowbells was ringing inside Arco Arena. I'm not. He's done things that I expected him to do. Okay, when he was in Cleveland was always a top 2 team in the East. When he left to go be an assistant coach for Golden State, he got some championships. He learned under Steve Kerr. Took that nudge to Sacramento, turned Domantas Sabonis into an all-star, De'Aaron Fox into an all-star. Sacramento was always in a playoff hunt. We've always known, if you're just now catching on to how good of a coach Mike Brown is, you are about, let's see, maybe 10 years too late. Yeah. We've known this already.
All right. We just had to get that out of the way. So in segment 2, we're going to talk about 3 different teams and their approaches in the offseason. I want to get Danny's thoughts on them. We'll be right back on the Out Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CK Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches Podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. The franchise is in a reset. The Dallas Mavericks hired Masai Ujiri, formerly of the Toronto Raptors, and he won a title in Toronto. And he officially dismissed head coach Jason Kidd, marking the end of a 5-season tenure that included a 2024 NBA Finals appearance, but also concluded with 2 consecutive seasons of missing the playoffs. Here's the thing: when you make the finals, you think you're better than you really are. And ask the Washington Commanders, ask all of these teams that have won when you're like, you're not that good. But Yeah, whatever. Who am I to say anything? So the move is the second major move for Dallas's, quote, fresh start since being appointed president and governor earlier in May. Ujiri emphasized the need for clarity and a unified direction for the organization, straight out of the Adams playbook. So the franchise is still navigating the aftermath of the trade of Luka Doncic, and I'm still in the minority saying I'm good trading Luka because how's it working out with a cat like James Harden and all of these other guys that have one-sided skills and can't do playoff basketball type things? Okay. The team is now pivoting entirely towards a rebuild centered around Cooper Flagg. We had an outstanding rookie season. So when you got an expensive coaching contract buyout, and they're going to give him his money, 4 years, $40 million remaining, and a lottery-heavy rotation, Ujiri has signaled a disciplined, thorough search for a successor who aligns with his long-term vision. So for me, Danny, don't be surprised if he gets an out-of-the-box hire, i.e. a college coach transitioning, similar to what Billy Donovan did. And don't be surprised if he calls Duke and calls John Shire. Don't be surprised if he calls Florida and Ty Golden. Didn't say that's going to happen. But do not be surprised because they're young enough to deal with the grind, and college ain't what it used to be. So at least I know who I have under contract for the next few years. What are your thoughts on Dallas's move? What do you think?
I actually liked it. I applauded it because I know Masai Ujiri's history running organization. I mean, when you look at what he did as far as scouting for Toronto, he brought in guys like DeMar DeRozan, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam. He built Toronto into a consistent Eastern Conference contender, right? Which ultimately led to a championship. When he went to Denver, Denver was always in the middle. He came in, started making some pieces, bringing in some draft picks in. Denver has been a consistent contender in the West since. Now, I'm wondering how is he going to do this and be part of the ownership group for the Toronto Tempo, which he joined last month. Now, as far as coaching search goes, I'm with you. I won't be surprised if he makes those phone calls to Duke and Florida. I just won't be. Because you're going to need to find somebody that's going to expand on Cooper Flagg's rookie season. And with the way they have financial flexibility now, you got rid of Anthony Davis's contract. You shedded contracts like D'Angelo Russell off your books. You immediately got rid of Jason Kidd, so that's no longer an expensive thing on your books. They have flexibility now. So now with what they can do during the summer, I like how Ujiri thinks and how he goes about team development and building the team around your cornerstone. And then granted, we don't know what they're going to do with Kyrie Irving. He's supposed to be back next season after he said, I'm not coming back this season. I'm going to rest his Achilles up to make sure I'm 100% good for the season. So Kyrie comes back, you can take Cooper Flagg, depending on who the coach is, you can take Cooper Flagg off the ball and really start to expand on him a little bit more. But it all depends on what Ujiri does this summer. And I have confidence that he can do it and put together a solid team in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to go to the Bay and talk about Steve Kerr's surprising return to the Warriors. So one of the lines we like to use, and we credit it to our favorite administrator, Robert Abney, is when somebody offers you their keys, you take them. And Steve Kerr revealed that he was 95% certain that he was going to retire before April's playing game against the Clippers. And a quote from his wife, "You might coach again someday, but you'll never coach the Warriors again," ultimately convinced him to stay. Well, what are we staying for? He signed a 2-year extension, keeping him as the highest paid coach in the league. He made $17.5 million last season. Good money if you can get it. Steph Curry turns 38 next season. Draymond and Jimmy Butler, 36. Butler tore his ACL in January and will miss most, if not all, of next season. And Moses Moody is out indefinitely with a torn patella tendon. And we spent most of segment one talking about OKC and San Antonio. So that's 1 and 2 right there. What are we doing, man? What are we holding on to? Sometimes it's best to leave the party early than it is to leave late. What are you thinking about the Steve Kerr, don't call it a comeback?
I mean, first things first, for them to finally come into the realization that we can't win a championship this season, I don't know what y'all were waiting for, because it's been that way since you won your last one in, I think that was 22. So I think it's time y'all should have been in that mode years ago, because we mentioned Oklahoma City and San Antonio. They have built off of development, draft picks, and putting solid guys around your stars.
So the best they can be is 3, and they're not going to be, because you're going to run off a bunch of teams off top of your head that's already better than.
Exactly. Because I'm already thinking in my mind, I'm like, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, LA, both LAs, Denver, Minnesota, Dallas. It's too many teams for them to be thinking, okay, we're going to be a contender. So now you're in a place where you don't have a cornerstone as far as youth goes, because like you said, Moses Moody's out, he's going to be out for a good little while. Steph is getting up there in age. He'll be 38 this year. Draymond and Jimmy Butler, who's coming off an ACL injury, they're both turning 36.
Uh-huh.
They should have been, we need to get younger. They should have done that years ago. And they tried. James Wiseman, I think he wasn't it. You shipped off Kuminga, who went to Atlanta and really showed y'all, I mean, you should have played me from the jump street. Because you had him and Moses Moody in your rotation. You had a solid duo right there as far as youth goes to build around. And they fumbled that. So now, what are they going to do? And Steve Kerr's in a situation where it's like, okay, I know we're not going to win. I know a championship is not in our future right now. I just need to do something that is going to help with, at least I think he should take this route.
Uh-huh.
Work on developing the young guys, and let's start building around them, because it's going to be the point where Draymond and Steph are going to be gone.
Yeah. All right. Finally, for this segment, the New Orleans Pelicans have officially hired former Orlando Magic coach Jamahl Mosley. He replaces interim coach James Borrego, who took over for Willie Green. And I remember Willie Green because when we just started the show, Willie Green got hired, and Coach Franchise was talking about Willie Green, as I remember. So the Pelicans front office views their current roster at a similar developmental crossroads to the Orlando Magic 21-win team that Mosley took over in 2021. And New Orleans is banking on him to replicate that success in terms of building it. He's building it through defense because he's known for his defensive pedigree, having coached top 5 defenses in Orlando 2023, 2024. He inherits a Pelican squad that ranked a dismal 27th defensively before the All-Star break. Okay. Wow. The biggest hurdle is fixing the messy fit between Zion and Derik Queen. That's just, I don't know how you play them both. Both are ball-handling bigs who don't protect the rim, and they don't shoot threes. So that's a problem. They rank 26th in the league in three-point attempts, and Mosley's time in Orlando was defined by similar spacing issues regarding the fit between Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. What do you think, man? Do you think he can get the job done, sir?
As solid as a coach I think Jamahl Mosley is, and I'm with you, I don't think he should not have been let go in Orlando. He got some work to do in New Orleans.
He didn't pick these groceries.
And that's the problem.
He didn't pick these groceries.
That's the problem. Like,
He ain't got no paprika in the cabinet.
No, he has no paprika, no garlic powder, no onion powder, nothing. It's just salt and pepper. That's it. That's it. And you got two bigs, as talented as they are on the offensive floor. They can't guard a cone on defense. And not to knock Derik Queen. Derik Queen is your cornerstone man.
Don't say that because Mike King will be on this show right now saying, don't you say that about that Terp.
Hey, if he can come and be on the show all he wants. Derik Queen is their cornerstone now. It's not Zion anymore.
I'm dumping Zion, and I'm doing it over the summer. There's no need from. It didn't work. Time to go and get some assets if I'm New Orleans. Because what am I going to get out of it? Something. Because we're not winning next year. We're not.
No.
So go ahead and just start moving these pieces around. I think my boy Hawkins is there, local from Gaithersburg and DeMatha. So we got one good 3-point shooter. He's a decent 3-point shooter. But yeah, I'm just kind of reconstructing this roster if I'm there. But all right, so in segment 3, fans, we have to talk about Caitlin Clark. And this is not the national media talking about Caitlin Clark. This is Coach Adams talking about Caitlin Clark and how I just think she's just been horribly managed. And we've got to do something about that. We'll talk about that on the other side. We'll be right back on the iCoaches Podcast.
Today's student athletes face pro-level challenges without pro-level support. The CKA SAVE project is here to change that. For 16 plus years, Dr. Keith Adams and his team have provided comprehensive academic and athletic support from middle school through post-graduation transitions. NIL guidance, transfer portal navigation, academic coaching, career planning, they've got it covered. The CKA SAVE project. When your future is on the line, experience matters. Learn more at www.ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the iCoaches Podcast in segment 3. Let's have the conversation about Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin Clark recently missed her first game of the 2026 season due to back soreness, a decision she attributes to a lack of 100% physical confidence following her 2025 season marred by multiple soft tissue injuries. Clark, and I applaud this. I want to say that, candidly address the mental challenge because it's a real thing of returning to elite level play after a year of recurring injuries and you don't trust your body. That's a real thing. The WNBA issued a warning to the Indiana Fever regarding the late timing of Clark's injury report, as they should have, 100 minutes before tip-off. Head coach Christine Sides and Christine Sides White, I believe, and Clark have both pushed back against that narrative. They're supposed to push back against the narrative, but people pay tickets and they ain't coming to see, half those people. They're coming to see Caitlin. So despite these concerns, she returned to action last week and she's putting up buckets. But let's do this. Season 1 was a wash. Last year, you finally got to a point where you could be a playoff caliber team, but she's banged up. Now we're in year 3. You got to put her on minutes. Got to put her on a minutes restriction, and you've got to maneuver that because that's a real thing. And then 2, man, you got to promote better. You've got to get more eyeballs on the product. So Danny, is somebody who's come back from injury, any thoughts about how Indiana is handling Kate?
I don't necessarily agree with how they're handling her. And I mean, speaking from my own experience, going into my freshman year of college, I had my first real significant injury when I tore my ACL. When I got back, mentally, I was not the same. I had to literally find a way to be strong enough to trust my body. And that was hard in its own right. Because even with that, I can speak about this candidly, even after coming back, I had a stress fracture in my foot. So that was even more like strain on my mind, like what is going on? And you have to find a way to build yourself up mentally to say, hey, my body's going to be good. You've put the work in to build your body up, but it's hard. It's really hard. So for Kaylin to come out and say that the mental grind of trying to come back from a very significant injury, her first real significant injury, is real. And the way Indiana is handling it, just throwing her back into the fire, you can't do that. But then at the same time, I mean, Kaylin didn't go about it the right way either in the offseason because she was trying to make the women's team for the People World Cup this summer.
Well, you got to play basketball. I mean,
it
on the marquee.
I
had no problem, with that. And I'm glad she didn't do Unrivaled. I'm glad she didn't do that. So
I am too.
I'm all right with her doing national team stuff.
I'm all right with it, but I'm also like, and this is why I think it's good that everyone doesn't know what she's doing behind the scenes, because I think if they did, they would crucify her at this point. So I think Indiana needs to do, I agree with you, Coach, they need to put her on some sort of minutes restriction to get her mental state in the right place to know that her body is going to hold up. Because the way they're playing her with some physicality, and there's nothing wrong with that. It comes with the territory of playing professional basketball. But she has to be in the right mindset to be able to handle it and trust her body.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about Azzi Fudd. So, one, she's number one pick, brings a lot of attention being number one pick. She has begun her career in a bench role under head coach Jose Fernandez, and we spoke last week about some of his coaching tactics in terms of calling out players very early in the season. We haven't even hit 10 games yet, and we're already calling people selfish. A little early for that, but I digress. While some expected immediate starter level minutes, similar to other recent top picks like Caitlin Clark and Paige Beckers, Fudd is navigating a deep, veteran heavy backcourt in Dallas, which goes back to, was she the best fit? But that's not my pick. So through early season, she's averaging about 8.8 points a game on highly efficient shooting splits. Her impact is best measured by on-the-court efficiency. The Wings' offensive rating is high when she's on the floor compared to when she sits. Fudd's expanding her game beyond the arc, showing prowess with the mid-range game. Both Fudd and her veterans have emphasized a team-first culture. But hey, every night, you're seeing what the number 2 pick's doing. You're seeing what the number 3 pick's doing. And we all got egos, Danny. What are you thinking about Dallas's approach with Azzi Fudd, knowing that the number 2 pick is getting a lot of positive pub? What do you think?
I'm not knocking how Dallas is handling Azzi Fudd. I think she can be the most prominent sixth woman we've seen in years with the way she's playing. Like you said, coming off the bench, she's already averaged 8 points, right? She's also not also healthy either. Remember, she was coming off the injury to start the season. So her getting development, and I like what the players are saying about her when they're in practice. She's getting everything, she's soaking everything in like a sponge, right? Her on the floor is producing for Dallas. Now, that's on offense. There's still the other side of the floor that Dallas is still struggling with. And Azzi can help, but I think and there's no but. And the dividends of her on the offensive end can somewhat supplant that. It's just like you said, when you look at what Olivia Miles is doing, who I'm going to say this straight up, I thought she was the best player coming into this draft. Everyone was saying Azzi Fudd, and I get it. the best player comes to this draft class was Olivia Miles. Let's just get it. Let's just keep it real. And she's producing for Minnesota. We see what the number 3 pick, even though we don't get a lot of what she's doing, but she's doing well in Seattle. And it's not like Azzi Fudd is playing bad basketball. She's producing for Dallas. It's just because Olivia's starting, it's going to be that comparison of, did we make the right choice? And they did make the right choice. She was the best fit for them. They needed some shooting, and she brings shooting into the mix. It's just if you were expecting her to start with that backcourt, you already had Paige and Enrique starting. That's your starting 1 and 2. You already had Odyssey Sims on your bench. She was not going to break into that rotation easily. It wasn't just going to come immediately. And people who thought that are losing their minds. So I think, I love what Dallas is doing. You're bringing her along. You're developing her a little bit more because like you said, she is showing her mastery of the mid-range game. And then in turn, once she's on the floor, everybody's gonna be like, oh man, we got to give her mid-range. Then you spread the floor with her ability to shoot 3. Dallas can open the floodgates for their offense. Defense is another conversation. I think they got to get some more pieces during the season or maybe in the offseason, because this isn't their year to think we're going to make a deep playoff run. But come next year, they're going to have to get some pieces to upgrade their defensive end because they're set offensively. Azzi Fudd was the correct choice, and she's proving it, even if she's not getting starter minutes.
Yeah. All right. So one other thing, Toronto Tempo was in the news this past week about not doing morning shoot-arounds. And for some people liked it, some people didn't. Coach Adams is big on, if I don't need you there, not going to have you there. So a lot of my shoot-arounds were optional in terms of I coach really, really talented players, and most of the time they get my attention. So if they played the night before and we have another game or something, I may want them to sleep in and let me work with, insert young player, try to get better, what have you. So again, Danny, any thoughts about Toronto not having morning shoot-arounds? What do you think?
No, never bothered me none. I mean, hell, when I was in college, yeah, we had morning shoot-arounds, but it was literally just us doing simple walkthroughs, stuff that we were doing during the week in practice. I mean, granted, morning shoot-arounds helps, but it's not a necessity. And if people are making a big deal about this, get on.
I had to bring that up because that was in the news. So as we wrap up, I just had the opportunity to visit the University of Oregon. I was at the Black Student Athlete Summit along with RCKA VIP project manager Roland Harrison III. A lot of ideas exchanged, a lot of positive dialogue, and we hope to move this work forward. One of the projects we have coming into 2028 is the CKA Postgraduate Academy that we're looking to grow and build. So for more information, go visit us on the web, www.ckasaveproject.org. Click the CKA PGA tab, the Postgrad tab, and learn more information about it. Also, if you're in the DMV, Friday, June 5th, if I'm not mistaken, is Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Come out to the Green Turtle in Burtonsville, hang out with us, watch the Knicks play OKC. I'll put that in the ethosphere. Listen to Adams talk about Harley Race and how he needs OKC to take the money. But really, it's just an opportunity to fellowship and share information about a lot of the work we're doing and help move that forward, because we're an independent nonprofit and we value that independence. So on behalf of our basketball correspondent, Danny Thompson, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Eye Coaches podcast, also seen on the Cascade Sports Network, and we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Eye Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Make sure you subscribe to the Eye Coaches podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on the X platform at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Keith Adams and the CKA Save Project on social media at CKA Save Project. For more information about the CKA Save Project, visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.